Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us again. Chris Warden.
And Leah Yingling.
And we are here presenting a series of interviews of competitors here at the Javelina Jundred, presented by Hoka and The Feed. And our next interview is with somebody who we just admitted right off, we don't know you. So this is a perfect opportunity for us to get to know you. Yes. Whitney Dancaster, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. I was really looking forward to this opportunity, coming back out to Javelina. I've been here, this will be my third year actually.
Okay.
I volunteered the first time out at Dancaster Junction, had a blast because I kind of wanted to see if this was something I wanted to do. And then did the 100K last year, and now I'm back again.
So you're back for the 100K.
Yeah.
What keeps you coming back?
I don't know. I think it's partially just the community here is so good, and I really love the trails. It's kind of like a good introduction to trail running because I'm coming from mostly road running. Living in Florida, so we have a lot of I do the Keys 100 every year, so I'm used to that, and this was kind of dipping my toe in the water and trying to see what the trail running scene was about.
Well, you say that you don't have a trail background, but very recently you had a pretty spectacular event in one of the most notorious trails in the entire world.
Yes.
Can you talk about what happened here just about a month ago?
Sure. So I actually, it was crazy. I didn't think I was going to get into the Barkley Fall Classic. It's an incredible race. I've had my eyes on it for a very long time. And then finally I got pulled off the wait list, and I was like, yes, this is the moment I've been waiting for, because I just felt like it was something I had to do. So I basically left my home in Florida. I went to Tennessee for 2 months, trained out in Frozen Head State Park and in Virginia, because we can't really get that type of training out there. It's as soon as you're up, you're back down, or max elevation 1 foot, just isn't gonna cut it. So I spent some time out there in the Barkley Fall Classic. It totally lived up to all the hype. It's an intense trail run. So coming back here, I'm oh, we should be good this
Easy.
year. Yeah, but the heat, can't be underestimated at Javelina, because, it kind of creeps up on you. It's that dry heat.
Well, because I've heard, to follow up on that about the Barkley Fall Classic, you won the marathon out there.
I did, thank you.
I have heard from people who have run both the Barkley Fall Classic and the Barkley proper in the spring that the Fall Classic in some ways is even more painful on a single loop basis, simply because everything is alive. It's when you get out there in, late March or early April, everything is still the brambles are down and a little bit dead, whereas in the fall they are ready, and they're basically all over you when you're hitting some of those climbs.
It's absolutely intense, because you think about the full Barkleys, and it's one loop, right? So you hit each thing one time, but a lot of the Barkley Fall Classic, you're hitting some of the hardest parts of the race several times. It might be an out and back on some of the hardest parts of the course, including the areas that are high with the sawbriars, and they just kind of rip you to shreds. I'm sure you've seen the photos, and if you haven't, don't Google because it's pretty gnarly. I still have a bunch of scars and scratches and stuff.
My coach came back and was basically his legs a few years ago from running out there, and his legs looked like it was just scratches nonstop.
My God. I had to go fill up at the gas station to get gas, and then I walked in to pay for my gas, and I didn't even realize people were staring at my legs, and then I was oh, no, sorry,
I'm fine.
This looks really bad. I promise I'm okay. I just need gas, please. But yeah, I feel that course, even though they say it's marathon 50K, because I spent so much time training out there, I also have a good idea of the mileage of some of the trails, because a portion of it is on trail. So it comes out to about I think if you did the 50K, it was 39 miles total.
Wow.
So, and it's all the first 8 miles was pure up. There's no, it's just relentless, but it's well worth it. It's one of those races that if you can get there and finish, it's so rewarding, and I feel you're going to keep going back. So
wow. Can you talk a little bit about your training block out there? Because it sounds quite different from training in Florida where you do your daily training.
Yeah. And so I'm used to kind of this type of weather. It's super hot, except for we have the humidity factor. So I knew I needed to get used to colder weather, because I really struggle with the breathing in cold weather. But I basically tried to focus mainly on elevation training. So I was hitting the mountain every day, hopping on the treadmill, walking backwards to kind of hit certain areas on the legs, and there is a factor to where like, okay, you can run bridges, you can run hills, but like at some point you're coming downhill and you're giving your legs that break. You have to find an area that is all uphill for 7 miles, and that's going to give you a taste of what you're going to go through. So, and it's tough terrain too, like very steep, single track, like cliff on the side. So yeah, the training block kind of leading up to it, because I knew it was 50K, I kind of tapered off like 3 weeks before, but maybe max, I mean, I was hitting like doing a lot of weight training and then maybe 70 miles a week. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So this is not your first time coming out here to Javelina, but you're coming here to run the 100K. What are your goals to accomplish this weekend? PR? Do you want to contend for the podium? What are you looking to accomplish out here this weekend?
Yeah, it's funny because coming here, I was like not sure. But Javelina kind of holds a special place in my heart because, so I run for Newton Running. I'm also on the Pro Firefly team, but we prototype tested the very first carbon shoe at this race. So we went through 3 different prototypes, but I wore the very first one here, and this is actually the final product that came out of it. So it was cool to like play a part of like, okay, we tested it on the terrain, I sent the shoe back, and now like a year later, there's 2 different colorways, and now this shoe is kind of like the Javelina baby in a sense, you know? So it's cool to be a part of that. And then coming back out here, like I kind of want to go fast, but I'm not sure. I had a totally different focus for Barkley Fall Classic, so I did lose a little bit of that heat training. I would love to podium. That's always the goal. So I guess we'll just have to see. And I think it's one of those things I'm not going to know until we're out doing it, because it is going to be spicy.
It's going to be a hot one out there. I do think coming from Florida, you've got an advantage there. Yeah, talk about the pacing strategies you'll be using out there, the crewing that you'll be having, any like heat mitigation tactics, things like that.
Yeah, so I've done the Keys 100 a lot, and it's again very similar because you have to deal with the heat and it's relentless. You don't have shade. So a lot of heat mitigation strategies is solely like topical to your body, because you can run into a huge problem if you're over hydrating as well. And here it's very dry, so I can see that happening. You're just wanting to take in cold fluids, and that can be really dangerous. So a lot of the times with like the Keys 100, I'll use BioFreeze to kind of give myself that sensation of cooling, or packing ice like on your chest, under your armpits, on your hat, using those types of methods. And then I'm wondering if I should tell all my secrets.
No, you don't need to.
I know, right? But I did really well at the Keys. I feel like mastering that race kind of has helped me to figure out what works best in the heat. And another really great method, if you're looking for a way to cool off while you're running in the heat, is to take a towel with you, and as that ice is melting, pour it onto the towel and then continually wipe your body, because it's so dry here that the sweat does kind of evaporate, but by putting that wet liquid on your body, you continue that sweating, cooling sensation. So that does help tremendously.
It's genius tactics over here.
So with regard to your expectations, you mentioned that you're not. It sounds like you're going to take the day as it comes. Yeah. One of the things about this race, and I'm sure you saw it last year firsthand, is that the lead pack goes out so hot.
They do, and I was with them. You know what's crazy? I was like, wow, I was like, all right, well, I kind of had 4th place all the way up till the end of the last loop, and then on that extra 2-mile section, I sprained my ankle. Oh. I finished the race last year on a sprained ankle.
Oh, wow.
But because here's another little fun trick that I did this year. So because in the 100K, you have to go past all the 100 milers who have started. So you're constantly like yelling on your left, especially if you're in that front pack. Because I think it was the front 3 ladies, and I was planning to kind of hang there until maybe the end of the second loop and make a move. But I had to keep going off course to kind of go around, because I'm soft-spoken, and I'm like, on your left, excuse me, like no one's moving.
You need a whistle.
Yeah. So this year, because we don't want any injuries or sprained ankles again, I bought this little button that goes inside of a stuffed animal, and I recorded myself screaming, on your left.
Oh my God.
I know.
Do you have it with you?
No, it's.
Oh.
I know. I'll have it tomorrow. I'll have to bring it by and show you guys. But it's absolutely hilarious. I'm like, this is gonna work. It's gonna work. So it's like rechargeable, and I can push a button. It's like that was easy button, but like me screaming.
It's almost like a horn. It's a trail horn.
Yeah. So that's my like genius hack this year.
That is amazing.
If it works, I'll let you know.
I need that. I'm the same way in races. I did the 31K here last year, and you pass both the 100-mile field and the 100K field, and I was very sick of saying that by the end of the race.
Right?
So
I feel
next
like
time.
someone please patent this idea. Like, I will buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's simply a trail horn. I think that this is an idea whose time has come for sure. So, Whitney, did you share who your crew were and who was going to be supporting you out here?
Yeah, so we actually have a mix of people. People that I've recently met, and I think that's why I love the ultra running community, because like one of my friends, Jessica, that I met at Barkley Fall Classic, she's here. She's also running the 100K. And then a good friend of mine, Greg, he was here last year crewing for me. And then Tyler Larson, who paced me last year. And then a good friend of mine, he's actually out here running. I hope he made it back, okay? But we know each other from when I was in Del Rey and like my marathon days before I switched to ultra running. So his name is Eric. So we've got a really good group with us, and I think we're going to do well. I think we'll take it as it goes. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great mentality.
Yeah.
I think we're all cheering for you out there, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you'll improve on your finish from last year, and I think we'll be watching for you in those podium positions.
Yes, I'm excited.
Whitney, it's been cool getting, number one, like we said, we're just getting to know you, and
Same.
number two, like some ideas that I
I
need to
know.
like run out and patent as
You're
soon as
welcome.
possible. So,
Genius.
Whitney Dancaster, thanks for joining us here on the Javelina 100 interview preview show.
Thank you guys so much.
Good luck out there.
I think that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight. We are going to be starting bright and early tomorrow morning at 5:30, guys. Is then when we're on the air?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have to be here before then,
Yeah.
but yeah. So we'll be on bright and early tomorrow morning at 5:30. Myself and Leah.
Yep. See you
so
there.
we will see you, and thanks for tuning in.